12, Chancellor's reports. I'll give this to you, Chancellor Jackson.
I did want to have the presidents to speak, and I'll start out with Merritt College, Dr. Johnson, to be followed by Berkeley City College, and then Laney College, and then last College of Alameda. So with that, I'll turn it over to President Johnson.
Thank you, Chancellor. Good evening, President Napoli-Reese, Board of Trustees, colleagues, and community members. This is the report from Merritt College. Just want to start by saying that we're proud to announce, Merritt College proud to announce that we've been awarded the California Apprenticeship Initiative Grant for new and innovative programs. And we got that from the Workforce and Economic Development Division of the State Chancellor's Office. The grant award is for it's a very specific number, $416,509. I don't know how they settled on 509, but it's 509, $416,509. And that's going to be used to strengthen our cybersecurity apprenticeships and increase access to digital literacy for underserved and underrepresented communities. And I'm just going to keep my remarks brief tonight. Secondly, and this is a name you've heard before, but I'm pleased to share with you that Ms. Pamela Samuels has been selected as the 2022 Coca-Cola Academic Team Gold Scholar, and as a result will receive a $1,500 scholarship. Now, Ms. Samuels is the president of our Phi Theta Kappa chapter here at Merritt, and she plans to transfer to a four-year university in the fall. I know that because I've written several recommendations and reference letters to some very prestigious colleges, so we'll just wait. That's her news to share, but we'll happily herald that once she gets in. Just a little bit about the scholarship. The foundation sponsors the Academic Team Award by recognizing 50 gold, silver, and bronze scholars. So she was one of 150. And there's going to be she's going to be honored and recognized at both the national and statewide ceremonies and at the PTK annual convention, which is going to be held in Denver, Colorado, April 7th to April 9th. And you may recall, as I said earlier, that last year she was named the 2021 Coca-Cola Leaders of Promise Scholar. So we just want to congratulate her as well. In closing, and it's ironic because he entered a letter this evening, I wanted to give a shout out to the National History and Sustainability, NHS program. And that is under the leadership of Brad Belugian and instructors such as Ben Nelson. Brad serves as the faculty manager over that program. And several of the students just recently completed the curriculum and secured positions in the environmental sector. I'm just going to a couple of the positions they've gotten. Jacqueline Caldwell is now a park interpreter at Santa Clara County Parks. Ryan Jones is a park ranger with East Bay Regional Park District. We got Alan Aki, who is a meter reader mechanic for East Bay Mud, and Rebecca Davis, who is now working as an interpretive student aide at the Ardenwood Historic Farm. So a little earlier, people asked, like, what are we doing to promote programs and do outreach? I wanted to, and hopefully, Maisha, this works, because this is about 1 minute and 40 seconds I want you guys to see of one of our students from the NHS program, Ronique Curry. She did an amazing job of putting this video together to give you everything you want to know about our natural history and sustainability program. So Maisha, hit it.
Okay, I will. And you guys give me a thumbs up if you hear everything okay.
All right, all right. So I just want to congratulate her again for such a wonderful job on that. And just on a personal note, if I just take a personal point of privilege, I appreciate um, uh, the comments by the Chancellor and Trustee Gonzalez, UN. We are listening as presidents. We do take seriously enrollment management as a part-time, long-time, part-time. I don't like to say adjunct because that suggests that the person's value is ancillary, which is not. So I was a part-time employee, part-time faculty member myself. So I understand what it is to have a class canceled. I understand that's $5,000-6,000 out of somebody's pocket that was maybe meant for something else. So it's not, and we also understand the impact of that it has on students canceling classes. So we don't do it lightly. I know at Merritt, about a third of our classes have enrollment under 20. So we're not just wildly canceling classes. We're trying to do it with a bit of circumspection. But I look forward to the conversation we're going to have about that soon. And that is a report from Merritt College.
I think BCC.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why I was having such difficulty. Good evening. Buenas tardes. Good evening, President Napoleon Bellaris, Dr. Jackson, trustees, colleagues, and community members. In addition to the board report provided in your packet, I'd like to highlight a few items. Berkeley City College has been in a year-long self-evaluation, revision, and confirmation process for our work in participatory governance. Since our accreditation site visit last spring, we have been diligently working to gather collective input and to codify our processes for evaluation. Starting with a participatory governance retreat in June of last year, 2021, where all governance chairs and co-chairs came together to plan a year-long review process. In the fall, each committee reviewed its charge, its membership, and role in providing input to the decision-making process at Berkeley City College. College Roundtable has been receiving these updates and has been endorsing the committee reports and revisions to our college participatory governance manual. And we are preparing to launch the survey evaluation to every committee member and a participatory governance committee. Now, one of the most recent revisions happened just yesterday at College Roundtable, where the members of the roundtable unanimously supported to implement the classified Senate president as a tri-chair for this committee, joining the academic Senate president and the college president. I am proud to be working alongside faculty, classified professionals, students, and administrators to ensure that we are transparent and inviting of all constituency voices in our participatory governance processes. I know that sometimes this work is not the most exciting. However, I think that it is. This is such critical work to the fabric of our community engagement and a cornerstone for accreditation excellence and achieving equitable student outcomes. I would also like to share exciting news of the ongoing presentations throughout the BCC campus regarding the progress and status of our new building on Milvia Street. We are on track for timely completion and meeting every design build process milestone, thanks to colleagues in the Department of General Services, our colleagues with Kitchell, AECOM, and the BCC faculty, classified professionals, students, administrators who've participated in the building user group meetings, and also because of the work of this Board of Trustees. Your steadfast commitment to ask the hard questions and support capital improvement projects, it doesn't go unnoticed. So on behalf of the BCC community, I want to thank you for all that you do to support our colleges and expanding the way that we support students. Last week, I had the opportunity to join the Women's Leadership Club for their community event focused on women's history, Time for Healing and Hope. It was remarkable to see the level of engagement, knowledge sharing, and deep reflections about the intersectionality that is present amongst our female identified community. As a point of personal privilege and on behalf of the Berkeley City College community, I would like to express my appreciation for all female identified colleagues and leaders on our college campuses, our district spaces, our Board of Trustees, for sharing your gifts, times, and talents with the Peralta community. We honor you not only during Women's History Month, but throughout the year. And in closing, I just want to echo comments that colleagues have shared regarding collective opportunity to engage enrollment management. And like like President Johnson, and I'm sure my fellow president colleagues, we all look forward to the opportunity to become a part of the solution together. This concludes my remarks for this evening. Thank you.
Good evening, Chancellor Jackson, President Napoli Bellarice, members of the governing board, colleagues in education, valued students, and community members. I'd like to begin my report this evening by extending special thanks to Professor Alicia Caballero Christensen, who has served in her first year at Laney College as the tenure facilitator. And along with that gratitude, I'd like to congratulate our faculty who were granted tenure. Professors Dana Grisby, Adam Balog, Elizabeth Cowan, Robert Crowley, Irfan Ortak, Nick Shaposhnikoff, Beth Waddell, and Professor Tiffany Wu. At Laney College, we look forward to celebrating the tenure that they've achieved in May. And we'll be working in collaboration with Professor Caballero Christensen to put on the event. And just want to extend special appreciation to her in her first year in that role. Also, in the spirit of speaking about accomplishments, I want to extend congratulations, and it seems to be almost a regular part of my report, but the Peralta Citizen has again received recognition. This time, they've won the Society of Professional Journalists James Madison Freedom of Information Award. The news was received during Sunshine Week, which highlights freedom of information in government. The students will be honored with a trophy that will live in Professor Eleni Gastis' newsroom as a reminder of the citizens' commitment and future work at Peralta. In addition to that award, they also picked up several others at the Journalism Association of Community Colleges Associate Collegiate Press Conference they attended last week in Long Beach. Specifically, the winners were Ivan Charez for photo essay, David Rowe for profile feature story, Derek Sylvester for column writing, Leticia Luna for video journalism, and Pamela Rudd for news story. I hope you will join all of us at Laney College in congratulating the students for their gumption, integrity, and talent. Speaking of great things happening, there were a number of activities really with Laney College reaching out to the community over the past couple of weeks. On March 9th, I hosted my first ever Coffee on the Quad. And while that was a great event and people turned up and got caffeinated, what was even greater was that a group of 18 prospective students funded by Employment Services, as well as the Vocational English as a Second Language and Social Adjustment Grant. As part of those activities, they visited our campus. And I'd like to thank Professor Laura Espino of the Adult Education Office, as well as Raya Zion with the Employment Services Department. Additionally, today, thanks to the work of Raya Zion, as well as Minerva Perez and Beth Waddell and others, Laney College welcomed 55 Latinx high school students from our McClymonds High School partner. And it was great to see them on the quad and make my best attempt to welcome them and speak to them in Spanish today. So that was wonderful. But the one thing I'd like to close my report with tonight is to kind of share part two of a story with you. One of the traditions we've had at Laney College has been our One-Stop Saturday. And last fall, you may recall that we tried to promote our late start classes essentially with a one-stop enrollment event on campus. And I was happy to report to you that we had somewhere between 20 and 30 students. Well, this time we had it again, and we did it as a hybrid event. And had it been, 40 students, I would have said awesome and great. But we had 125 students turn up on our campus on March 16th. And again, we had some partnership here. We couldn't have done it without McClymonds and West High Schools bringing groups of students to our campus, which was absolutely wonderful. In total, between that and the online event that President Bilal Hamran told you about earlier, the day saw at least 200 students come to these events to get the assistance they needed, learning about programs and receiving additional support. There's so many people to thank, especially our food services team, Kenetta Roberts, who helped with facilities in terms of setting things up, If something happens on our campus with an outreach or welcome event, you'll be sure to find Ms. Hope Lane at the forefront of it. In addition to that, we also got incredible assistance from the custodial team at Laney College, our counselors, our IT team, enrollment services, financial aid, staff in the Welcome Center, admissions and records. And in the spirit of doing this mid-semester, we had a strong turnout from our tutoring and supplemental instruction colleagues that came. And just want to say that really this was an event that was a success, but it was a success because of partnership with our OUSD partners, and a partnership across Laney College with our faculty, our classified professionals, and our administrators who turned out together to really serve our community. And I'd like to send, even though this is kind of an internal thing, I'd like to send special appreciation to our classified Senate, as well as our classified union steward, Alejandro Acosta, because in the midst of that, within that week, they did the very important work of doing resource prioritization for our classified hiring. And I know that's a small thing, but it took a lot of work, and it was a big thing for Laney College. So with all of that said, I also would like to take just a moment of personal privilege and say, as a former part-time faculty member myself, I certainly understood and heard a lot of what was said tonight. And I too look forward to the discussions continuing about enrollment management. This week, we rolled out over 80 late starting sections. And as we look at our enrollment, while like a lot of community colleges in the state, our enrollment numbers are down. Our FTES is actually up about 2% resident from what it was a year ago. And I think what that tells me as a college president at Laney is that we are following guided pathways. Our students are now, even though there are fewer of them, they're taking more units. And that's something that is really an accomplishment among all of us, and not just in instruction, but in student services, administrative services, and everything we do. And with that, I'll close my report for this evening.
Good evening, President Reese, trustees, Chancellor Jackson, colleagues, and community members. I'm delighted to provide this report for the College of Alameda. As you may recall, advancing diversity, equity, inclusion, and accessibility is one of COA's strategic institutional priorities. In supporting this priority, our commitment to equitable student success, COA has joined 68 other California community colleges in participating in the second USC California Community College Race Equity Leadership Alliance. This year, the Alliance programming officially began this month and continues its important work that was started last year, implementing impactful solutions to equity challenges on our college campuses. The alliances provide member colleges with resources, training, and annual assessment aimed at improving equity and diversity outcomes. The Racial Equity Leadership Alliance is headed by USC's Provost and Professor of Management and Operations, Dr. Sean Harper. College of Alameda will send 10 employees to each online monthly session over the course of 12 months. However, all College of Alameda employees will have access to these resources through the online portal that is provided as part of the membership. Additionally, we will be administering the Race Equity Climate Survey, which is also made available to Alliance members in the September or October timeframe. Our Accesso program hosted the second virtual session in its career panel series on Thursday, March 3rd. Students heard from panelists with careers in science, technology, engineering, and math. The panel discussion was co-hosted by the by COA's Math Engineering Science Achievement, or MESA program. Panelists included Oak Ridge National Laboratory Tech Professional Material Researcher Alexis Flores Bentoncourt, Amgen Incorporated Process Development Scientist Miguel Gomez, SC Solutions Incorporated Senior Engineer Michael Perez, and Autodesk Senior Data Scientist Giselle Vizcarra. The panelists recounted their own educational career journeys, provided career advice, and answered students' questions. The next sessions will take place on April 7th, which will focus on vocation careers, and the final session will take place on May 5th and focus on the medical field. On February the 25th, members of our Guided Pathways team participated in a California Guided Pathway 2.0 initiative workshop entitled Operationalizing the Big Idea of Guided Pathways with a Design and Implementation Framework. Our participants included our acting VPI, Dr. Diana Barami, and our Director of College Research and Planning, Dominique Benavidez, as well as I attended. The workshop explored ways that college can design and implement improved student experiences under a Guided Pathways framework using an equity lens by exploring approaches that enhances a student's sense of connection, belonging, and validation. I would also like to indicate that I, along with the other college presidents, attended the 2021 CLC CEO Leadership Symposium in San Diego a few weeks back. The CEO Symposium is an annual convening of the California Community Colleges chancellors, superintendents, and president from across the state. The statewide convening of CEOs facilitated information dissemination and discussion regarding important topics, such as beyond COVID-19, prioritizing diversity, equity, and inclusion, reimagining the future through fiscal policy lens, looking at proposed changes to the student-centered funding formula, and a conversation with the state chancellor, Eloy Oakley Ortiz. So in closing, one of the other priorities of our college is that around strategic enrollment management. You've heard that we are very much looking forward to engaging in taking this matter on and studying it even further. I would also like to remind us that this is ongoing work. Many of us participated in an strategic enrollment management work last term. We've also hired consultants. We are very, very committed and very serious about taking a very, very data-driven approach to finding creative solution to very, very challenging problems that have implications in terms of the changing demographics, changing technology, changing fiscal realities. So please know and understand that the leadership of the district heartily hear you and take these matters into serious consideration and are trying to come up with the best solution that balances the multiplicity of complex issues and concerns. So that ends my report for this evening. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Presidents, and thank you, the board, for listening to our updates. I'll turn it back over to President Napoli Bellarice.
Great. Yes, I'll echo that same sentiment. Thank you, Presidents, for your updates. It's always wonderful to hear what grants you're applying for, what grants you've gotten, the symposiums that are happening, how Flex Day is going, and how your accreditation processes are coming along, even beyond the visit, moving towards institutional excellence at each of the colleges. And also, of course, how great the NHS program is doing too at Merritt. All that wonderful stuff has been fantastic to continually hear every 2 weeks. Excuse me, let's move on to 4.1, public hearing.